my city, my city, my city.
Hey guys, this is Lemayan for Tech 5. I wonder if you've ever wondered, why is the resurrection of Christ such a big deal? The resurrection of Christ is spoken of in the Gospels, in the epistles of the apostles, later in the New Testament. And I wonder if you've ever asked yourself, why it's such a big deal? Well, I'd like to commend to you two reasons. One being hope, and the other being lordship. Number one, I'd like to begin with lordship. I believe that if Jesus Christ really rose from the dead, then whether you listen to him doesn't depend on whether you like what he said or not, but rather if he rose from the dead or not. If you remember when you were a child, if you had a challenge and you couldn't surmount it, whether it was climbing a wall or fighting with someone, for example, and if you couldn't do it and then someone came and did it, you would want to hear how they did it. You would want to listen to their story of how they were able to do it. And that's what Christ did for us. We had enemies like sin and death, which we couldn't win against. We all know the addictions and sins that always are there in our lives. And you might have wondered, how am I able to surmount this? We also know that nobody gets out of life alive. Everybody dies. And so death was an enemy that we couldn't beat. But Christ beat it if he really rose from the dead. And therefore, if someone has beaten this enemy that will defeat me hands down, then I will want to listen to what they say. And so that is why I believe that if Christ rose from the dead, then he has to be my Lord. The second one is hope. All of us know how sad it feels to lose a loved one, or someone, a friend or family relation that you loved. We all also know what it means to suffer in some way or the other, financial lack or sickness. Well, if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, then what that means is that suffering and sin and lack and sickness is all that there is. That there is no way that this is going to end, that is going to remain that way forever. But if Christ rose from the dead, then he has defeated sin, he has defeated death, he has defeated suffering. And that means that we can have hope that there's a day that we will be like him, that there's a day that we will not suffer, that we will not sin, that we will not face lack like we do here. Just think about the news and you see the amount of suffering that is going on in the world. The message of Christ's resurrection assures us that that is not the end of the story. And so, as I conclude, I'd like to mention this, that the message of Christ's resurrection is one of great hope and joy to the person who trusts in him. However, it is one of horror and terror to the one that hasn't received Christ. Because the Bible assures us that this risen Christ will come back. And when he comes back, he will not come as a baby like the first time that he came to the world. But at this time, he will come as a judge to judge each person in the world. And what will matter is whether you trusted in him and were reconciled back to God. That's why I believe that the resurrection of Christ is the most consequential thing that ever happened in the history of humanity.
My city, my city.